How are you?
Good morning.
It's really atrocious out there.
Take care.
Thank you.
Hey, my daughter-in-law is
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's October 31st, 2016, special board meeting of the Board of Supervisors. I'd like to ask the clerk of the board to do a roll call.
Supervisor Watson?
Present.
Supervisor Angus?
Present.
Supervisor Johnson?
Here.
Supervisor Moss?
Here.
And Chairman Bishop.
I'm here. Thank you very much. We'll begin this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll ask Supervisor Watson to lead us in that.
If you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This special meeting, we only have one item on the agenda. This is under Steve Lakowski, Public Works Director's name. Discussion, possible action, Ray, approve a 10-year license agreement with EB Acquisitions, LLC, to use certain public road right-of-ways or roadway easements for the placement of a metal sleeve encased in an 18-inch irrigation water supply line across Stockton Hill Road at milepost 37.9 in the North Kingman area to provide water for the purpose of irrigation at EB Acquisitions, LLC. So I ask Mr. Lakowski if he has anything to say. I know this was agendized at the last meeting incorrectly, and we've corrected that.
Good morning,
Morning.
Madam Chair, members of the board. This item concerns the installation of an irrigation pipeline for commercial purposes, but not for utility purposes, to further facilitate the irrigation of various lands associated with farming activities. The reason why this item was re-agendized and brought back for this special meeting, which staff appreciates the board's early consideration, was the name of the company was misstated. It was previously stated as Kingman Farms, and we do now understand that EB Acquisitions LLC is currently the company in charge of the operation, as well as the appropriate licensee. The reason why staff brought this item as a license agreement is the irrigation pipeline will cross Stockton Hill Road perpendicular, but it may be subject from time to time to certain maintenance activities. And we find it based on past successes that the memorializing this activity under a license agreement is much more easier to administer. The activity involves about 150 feet of 150 square feet of pavement disturbance in the initial construction. And due to the limited disturbance of Stockton Hill Road, staff is recommending that the fee structure just be relegated to the licensee adhering to the right-of-way use permit fees for every subsequent effort by which the licensee needs to either operate, maintain, access the right-of-way. So in essence, for the 10-year license period, the licensee will be contacting Public Works in every instance that the licensee needs to enter the right-of-way to perform various operations, maintenance, repair, et cetera, of the irrigation pipeline.
Okay, do any of the supervisors have any questions for Mr. Lakowski, starting with Supervisor Watson?
Thank you, Mr. Latowski. Is there some reason why we wouldn't want to guarantee the road base with a bond, or in case there were some disturbance and the road was harmed in a way in which that it would impede traffic and we'd be held up with fixing the road?
Madam Chair, Supervisor Watson, the license does give staff the ability to require that the licensee repair the road pavement structure, both the base as well as the surface, to a level representing as good or better than pre-existing condition. And the license does give certain terms and conditions which allow the county to make relative claims to that effect if the roadway was not repaired to a manner satisfactory to Mojave County standards and engineering standards and specifications.
So in essence, you feel just as more comfortable under the franchise agreement than you would a bond?
Supervisor Watson, yes, we feel that, staff feels that the license is strong to enable our assertion of certain repairs to bring it to a better than pre-existing, equal or better than pre-existing condition. And if that does not happen, we can take certain action through the county attorney's office or through the board of supervisors in terms of violating a term or condition.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, Supervisor Johnson, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess the only thing is I'll be voting against this. This same group of got in bankruptcy right now, Mojave Equine and the Kingman Farms. This is the same group, and we're going to go into a 10-year contract and let them have access underneath our road, and something that could just come back and bite us. I think it's not a very good deal for the people of for people of Mojave County. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Moss, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'll follow up Supervisor Johnson's comment. If Mr. Otasi is there, is there any reason that he would see it would be beneficial not to vote for this proposal?
Supervisor Moss, I'm unable to hear you very clearly. If you could speak up a little bit.
Is there any, because is Mr. Otasi, when he was presenting to us, did he have any reasoning or any facts that he thought it would be beneficial to Mojave County to not vote for this proposal?
Okay, Mr. Lakowski, were you able to make out that?
Yes, Madam Chair, Supervisor Moss, if I understand the question correctly, the question to staff is, would it be beneficial to Mojave County not to vote for this proposal? I can only state with regard to the actual road maintenance, staff has feels that we placed a mechanism through the license agreement which represents strong language as it relates to roadway maintenance and repair. And we're confident that as it relates to maintaining the roadway and ensuring that there is no undue impact both to the pavement structure as well as to traffic operations, that the license agreement is the best mechanism to go, and hence we brought it to the Board of Supervisors rather than entertain a separate right-of-way use permit.
Okay.
Let me ask this a different way then. We're concerned about water usage in Mojave County and the Kingman area. Would voting against this proposal limit the water usage in this farming area?
Mr. Hendricks, would you like to respond to that? Or Supervisor Watson?
I can. In the meetings with the applicant, we found out the reason that they want to put this pipe under the road is there would be one less well that would be drilled in that area. So I guess it's a decision of putting a pipe across the road or one more well into the aquifer. Does that help?
That helps. Mr. Hendricks, did you have anything to add?
Madam Chairman, Supervisors, I was going to echo the same issues. It's my understanding also that the applicant wanted to utilize an existing well in lieu of drilling an additional well on the other side of the roadway. And this would in no way affect his ability to utilize as much water as what they're currently proposing to use if we denied this proposal.
So going back to that, is there a net gain to the county or a reduction of water loss by allowing this proposal to go through?
Madam Chairman, again, I couldn't understand Supervisor Moss.
He's asking.
I'll try it again.
Okay. Go ahead.
Is there, if we vote for this proposal, will they use less water than they would if they used a well?
Well, your question is, will they collect water?
use less water than they would if they used a well?
Okay.
Supervisor Moss, I think that would be a question to the applicant, but I could tell you my understanding, it's either, it was my understanding that, it's an either or. It would be an additional expense to the applicant if we denied this application, because to supply the exact same water, he would be drilling an additional well on our side, on the east side of Stockton Hill Road. That was my understanding, and that's more along the lines of secondhand information. We could certainly ask the applicant that same question.
Well, no, I'm trying to zoom down into the benefit to the county here, because it occurs to me, based upon what everyone has said, the issue is we don't want another well drilled, because once that's in, it's grandfathered. Would that be correct?
That's my understanding, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Johnson?
I think, I don't know if this will help Supervisor Moss, but the fields they're talking about are on the opposite side of the road where they have no wells. What we're doing is either can go over there and drill a well, which costs a lot of money, or the county can subsidize them by letting them go through or underneath our road system and use existing wells that they already have. So the same amount of water is going to be used. It's just we're saving this organization money, which I don't think they have the wherewithal to live up to the agreement that we have. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to, if I can, Madam Chair, it
Yes.
strikes me that once the well is in, or a new well is in, or grandfathered, assuming they have the financial wherewithal, that's grandfathered in and will be always in production. By allowing the pipe to go across the roadway, what we're saying is you can only draw from your existing wells. You're just transporting it from one spot to the other across the road. And that's my interpretation of what's happening. We're trying to prevent another well from going in.
That's precisely my understanding, Supervisor Moss.
Okay, I got it now. Thank you.
Supervisor Angus, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions. I just want to thank Supervisor Moss for clarifying that for me in that simple language. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lekowski, one more straw in the aquifer. Does that harm anything? Does it help Mojave County as far as our water supply if we limit the number of wells, which of course we cannot? And then if we grant this, what prevents this particular farm from still drilling wells as their crops mature and they expand?
Oh, Madam Chair, I believe County Administrator Hendricks basically painted the current status of what would be allowable as far as state regulations, and with regard to the licensee being able to drill another well at their discretion. I do wish to point out with regard to the fee structure that staff again is representing a fee structure as it relates to the maintenance of the roadway. The value of the pavement disturbance, which is only 150 square feet, is about $1,100. And we don't see it as an undue impact, and that the recovery of fees as it relates to the right-of-way use permits, which will be drawn for both the installation as well as subsequent maintenance and operation, is adequate to support the roadway operation. But if it pleases the board to consider any other type of fee structure, given the savings realized by the licensee, that would be up to the Board of Supervisors.
The agreement is for 10 years. Is there a reason why that was specified 10 years with a 5-year renewal option at the end of that? Or is it possible that we could reduce that to maybe a 5-year contract or license?
Madam Chair, that would be the board's discretion. We selected 10 years on premise that that is representative of our typical license agreement for these types of commercial operations.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. I'll give the opportunity for the applicant to come up and address some of these questions if you like. If you give us your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, this is Tren Griffith. I'm representing EB Acquisitions, LLC, and the address would be 17250 Stockton Hill Road, Kingman, Arizona. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them now.
I think we'd like to have your address for the record.
My address is 3880 Stockton Hill Road, Suite 103-220.
Okay. Is that good enough? That's a post office box. Okay. All right, go ahead.
By allowing us to have the pipeline crossing the road, it will, in fact, prevent another well from being drilled. It also is being used for the development of a very efficient, water-efficient crop with drip irrigation, an efficient underground irrigation system. And with such a small amount of pavement disturbance and a, relatively small economic amount, I don't see why we should not be allowed to do this.
Okay, a few of the questions that I asked earlier, maybe you can clarify. Do you intend to drill any more wells
The current plan of operation is not to drill any more wells. We do not have any drill rigs operating currently. We want to use what we have and then go from there.
And what's the size of your property that you own there?
The size of the property in question by EB Acquisitions is 2 sections, each approximately 640 acres, Section 29 and Section 21. I don't have the township and range right now.
Madam Chairman, may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Just so we know who we're doing business with, who is EB Acquisitions and how does that relate to the rest of the business, farming business that's going on there?
I'm actually not sure if I'm qualified to answer that question on a technical level with what, company is a subsidiary of another company. So it is absolutely related to the farming operation by Kingman Farms in the area. However, I'm not sure exactly the details of that.
But the well and what you're doing is under EB Acquisitions and not directly under the name Kingman Farms.
Yes.
But it's the same operation. Is that what you're saying, basically?
It's the same operation. However, it is a different company, a different legal entity.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions of the applicant? Supervisor Watson?
Madam Chair?
Supervisor Angus, hold on just 1 second, please.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Supervisor Watson is yielding to you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess this is the second meeting that a supervisor has implied that the business is about to file bankruptcy. I haven't been able to get any information on that, although I've tried. While we have the applicant, can we, it's out there, so can we hear from the applicant about that?
The legal entity Kingman Farms LLC was merged into Avery Land Holdings, and then the Avery Land Holdings did declare bankruptcy. So yes, that, Kingman Farms LLC did in effect declare bankruptcy.
All right, and who now owns it? What's the name of the company that owns it now?
Sorry, I couldn't make that out.
What is the name of the company that now holds it?
The permit, the right-of-way is going under EB Acquisitions LLC.
Okay, and that was Kingman Farms.
Previously,
Okay.
yes, that land was owned by Kingman Farms.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I would like to actually clarify that. The land was actually owned by, it was not owned by Kingman Farms. Kingman Farms is not a large land owner in terms of the acreage owned or anything like that. The land was actually never directly owned by Kingman Farms LLC, which is the company that declared bankruptcy.
You have any other questions, Supervisor Angus?
No.
All right. Supervisor
I
Watson?
have a question, Madam Chair.
Supervisor Johnson, go ahead.
My question is, you made a statement that by doing this, this restricts the drilling of a well on your other property. That's not true. You can go there and drill 10 wells tomorrow if you want, isn't that correct?
The ADWR regulations are pretty well known. Yes, we can easily drill more wells. However, this is it makes no economic sense to do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the fact that this wasn't stopping more wells. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Watson?
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. At this point, I'd like to make a motion that the Mojave County Board of Supervisors move to approve a 5-year lease agreement with EB Acquisitions, LLC, to use certain public road right-of-ways or roadway easements for the placement of a metal sleeve encased 18-inch irrigation water supply line across Stockton Hill Road at milepost 37.9 in northern Kingman area to provide water for the purpose of irrigation at EB Acquisitions, LLC.
Has joined the conference.
Okay, I think the clerk of the board, she's back, okay. Okay,
Madam
Supervisor
Chairman.
Angus, did you hear the motion?
No,
Supervisor,
I'm
and I'll
sorry. I
second
was.
it.
No, I didn't hear anything. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll repeat it. Attorney Ekstrom, did you have a comment?
just as to whether or not this motion anticipated a 5-year automatic extension. I think the original license called for that.
Yes, 5-year with a 5 extension,
Yes.
yes. Do you need the motion again?
The motion is to approve the item, but with a 5-year license agreement, correct?
Right. Now, that should be amended to include 5-year renewal.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Watson, seconded by Supervisor Moss. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
And I will vote opposed, so it does pass 3-2. Okay, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it? We're adjourned.
Supervisor Johnson.